Cutting on the U.S. forecast package for today. Sounds professional, doesn't it? Anyway, I want to start off by showing the upper level flow pattern, mid level flow pattern here, 700 millibars, 500 millibars. So you get an idea of what's going on in the mid levels of the atmosphere and why we're having severe weather in these areas right now, and why there's going to be an excessive rainfall event in the next couple of days as a mid-level trough moves through the flow. It's relatively, at least for the next today and tomorrow, deep moisture is going to pull into the Ohio Valley and along Wisconsin and those areas today and tomorrow. And this is echoed by the excessive rainfall outlook for today and tomorrow for into Wisconsin, Iowa, surrounded by slight risk and a slight risk as of rainfall along the front range of the Rockies into Kansas, parts of Arizona, off the southeast coast, and into Florida. And day two, and this threat is likely like this because the rain all over the same areas over and over again. And day three, still a slight risk in that area. And we look at total, and this is moderate risk indicates a 40% risk of excessive rainfall, exceeding flash flood guidance within 6-hour flash flood guidance within 25 miles of a point. So you're showing here for today the possibility of up to 2, 3, 4 inches of rain in these areas. In day two, over the same areas, up to 2, 3, 4 inches of rain off the southeast coast, into Kansas, parts of Colorado, Florida, unsettled weather in Florida there. And day three, still some unsettled weather in the southeast and along this frontal boundary here that's moving through the central U.S. and Ohio Valley. But today and tomorrow are the highest risk flood days. When they put a moderate risk like this, that's especially for day two, they have high confidence in this means 40% chance. So what that means, you can read it right there. And to add insult to injury here, we have for today chances for your weather, mostly due to high winds in the Midwest here, Ohio Valley, not really the Ohio Valley, but more the towards Wisconsin, Iowa, and into the central plains here. Hail risk, of course, is more prevalent on the front range of the Rockies, the steeper lapse rates. Although on the front here, there's still a 2% chance, 5% hail risk. Tornado risk, there's still tornado risk of 2% in both these areas today. And moving into tomorrow, they don't have any tornado risk outlined. With a wind risk, moving 2%, 5% wind risk moving to the south here, and hail risk along the front range of the Rockies with the marginal risk. When you go to day three, there's no marginal risk outlooked, although I think in future updates there probably will be. So the current radar, if we look at the composite radar, you can see where the heaviest rain is right now. Looks like MCV moving through the middle part of the country this morning. Heavy rainfall occurring all along this boundary, and in the way up in the upper Midwest along in Canada, where that mid-level feature is, moving through the flow. And why, you would ask, why are we getting so much rainfall here, and why is it the flood risk? Well, when you look at the upper level flow pattern again, it's pretty stagnant. It's not very progressive, right? You have a boundary that sets up in this area here. And if you look at the GIS viewer, there's also some other issues here with heat right now. Increase the opacity here along the boundary, and you have severe weather and flood risk. Um, Quite dry along the Intermountain West into the Northwest, which is quite unusual. This is along the high desert on the eastern side of the Cascades, like wind advisory, high winds. Um, the heat threat will move eastward in the coming days, and I'll talk about that in a few minutes. But you can see in the south of this area where we have a lot of moisture moving northward and high temperatures, you have a heat advisory. Nothing much for the southeast right now, but that will change in the next week or so. Uh, so if you look at I'm going to try to bring up the boundaries here for today, and bear with me for a second. Aviation. It shows boundaries, what we're talking about here in the legend. You have, sorry for the on the fly stuff here, but you have a stalled front along the southeast coast out into the mid-Atlantic, where you have that non-tropical low off the mid-Atlantic coast, surface trough in the Gulf of Mexico, some surface troughs in the Midwest, cold front, attendant low pressure way up in Canada, other conflicts features associated with the terrain and other things, different surface troughs there. But this front is likely going to stall out. If we go down, day one fronts, see where it's going to be there. And that's what's kind of driving this, not kind of, it is driving this rain threat. See how you have the red circles, and this is a cold front and warm front boundary, which means it's a stalled front. It's not moving to the east at all. Stationary front. This is a warm front down here. You see the red dots going on the north side. So that low is bringing the warm front northward. It's more of a moisture boundary probably. And when you have boundaries like this that set up stationary, and you have a deep flow off the Gulf of Mexico, which is shown in the models here with PWatts, which is precipitant water values, which gives a good indication of how much moisture is available for precip in the atmosphere. When you get up to these 2.5, you see the deep moisture flowing into the upper Midwest, into Canada here, and along the southeast coast. And if you move over time with this, deep moisture remains, and there's quite in the southeast. You still have that remnant high pressure system setting up here, keeping precipitation at bay, keeping this front from moving very far. And it keeps temperatures cool in the southeast and in these areas, but you see where the boundary's setting up the moisture. PWatts of this value over 2 inches, it definitely could be a setup for disaster if we have training of storms, which means storms form and move along the boundary over and over again. See, the front really doesn't clear the area. The moisture starts to move in here in the southeast and desert southwest. This continues without much movement. It looks like over time maybe the moisture gets cut off from the Gulf here some, kind of get truncated, but then kind of focused in the middle part of the country here in a couple days. Along the southeast, very unsettled, high moisture content coming off the Atlantic and off the Gulf. So that's what's driving that. As far as temperatures, we're looking at this is the most recent HRR run, which is a high resolution rapid refresh. This is heat index temperatures, what it feels like. Desert Southwest. It's hot for this time of year, I guess, up in here, and you see the heat index values approaching almost 110. Go through time here next couple days. This thing moving kind of slow this morning. Come on, go. Well, all right. So took a while to load there. See, the heat is increasing on this corridor here along and south of the front. In 97 up into the upper Midwest here along the Great Lakes. Heat index, that's pretty high for up there this time of year. Hundreds in the Midwest here. Ohio Valley cooling off overnight, but then heat will likely build again if we look at the GFS. Let's look at the GFS long range. Max temp. '24. See what the maximum, the highest air temperatures are. That's why the heat is going to be a problem up here in the upper Midwest and Great Lakes. Shifts eastward. Hundreds. Back heating up again in the upper Bay and the high plains, upper Midwest, North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota. And it's starting to heat up again in the southeast. This is next Saturday. I'll go through the next Sunday to kind of show how much the nation is going to get hot again. And if you look at the hazardous heat table here, see how it moves eastward, kind of cools off for a little while. But you go back a couple, see where the highest risk is on Monday up in Detroit, Chicago, and this is likely driven by some heat island effects. And also they're not used to this amount of heat. They're not prepared for this as well as we are in the southeast. And just looking at Friday, you see what I showed you just before on the other page where the heat's building back in east of the Rockies for pretty much most of the nation. As far as local weather for our area today, take a look here real quick. Forecast. I like to pull this up so people can see what the National Weather Service thinking is, and not just Tim Ealer here. Chance of precip 40% today, high of 85. get down to about 70 tonight, 60% chance of shower and thunderstorms tomorrow. 80% chance that shower and thunderstorms, high of 84 tomorrow, high of 84 on Monday, 80% chance. Low in the 70s, high of 85 on Tuesday, warming up some. 70% chance of rain on Tuesday, on a Tuesday night. High, getting up to 89, 50% chance of rain. You can see chances of rain increase over the weekend and then decrease a little bit towards the end of the week, and warming up as we showed before in the heat outlook. Anyway, that's all I got for today. I hope you all have a great day, and I'm waiting for my medicine to get here.